Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It has been a hot minute since I have recorded a video, which I'll take that back. I actually recorded a video last week, and it was basically the story of essentially when my husband cheated death. But it was over 30 minutes and YouTube wanted me to upload them separately, and I was like, ugh, okay, not in the mood for that. I will re-record it sometime. So for those of you who are either new or just checking back in, I've been completely MIA for almost a month now because my husband had a really bad motorcycle accident. He drag races motorcycles and he wrecked at the track. So it was a crazy couple of weeks. He spent 10 days in the hospital. So those few weeks were really hard. The few weeks following that, when we came back home, was very, very difficult, which I'll talk about in another video that I make. My mom's calling me. Sorry, Mom. It was just really rough, like adjusting to everything. He broke both hands, so if you can imagine not being able to use either of your hands, like you need someone all the time to help you. So it was it was hard. It was very rough. I'll make a whole separate video on that. The last TTC update video that I made was me taking my first round of Clomid, and I did ovulate, to my knowledge, based off of ovulation tests, and I also sent a picture of my ovulation test to my OB, and she said it does look like you ovulated. So went through the 2-week wait, nothing, and I am on cycle day 57 today. So that was not how I wanted everything to go, but hey, as all of you guys know, you cannot plan any of this trying to conceive business, and if you have any kind of condition that makes it hard for you to conceive, or an unknown reason why you're not being able to have a baby, so far, you know how frustrating it is, and there's so many ups and downs, and you just can't keep track. So that's where I was at. So I'm going to keep this video mainly a TTC update video. I will say my husband is doing absolutely incredible. All of his road rash is almost completely healed. His hands are doing really good. He started therapy this week, and we just got back from a vacation this past weekend, which we had debated on going because of everything that happened, but it was paid for already, and it was just kind of a good time for us to take a vacation. He was off work anyways, so you might as well make use of that time. And it was a really great vacation. We went to Colorado and took side-by-sides, and it was just a really good time. So anyways, he's doing great. So when I left for vacation, I told my doctor, I said, hey, look, I'm going on vacation. Is there any way you can prescribe me Clomid before I go in case I start while I'm there? Because hopefully I'll start. And she's like, well, we can't do that. However, we can send any kind of prescription to any pharmacy. So you can just let us know when you're out there if you start. Didn't start. I got back, and I would, let's see, today is Friday. Tuesday night, I had kind of like a mental breakdown. I was just getting really frustrated because I have no signs that my period is coming, which I typically don't have a lot of anyways, but it's very anticipated this month because I was really looking forward to starting my second round of Clomid. And when my cycles have been fairly regular for me, so 40 days, metformin helped with that at first. It hasn't really recently, obviously. So I was just very anxious, very excited for my next round, and when my cycle didn't come, and my cycle didn't come, I was just really disappointed, and I was getting very frustrated. So with my health insurance provider, or hospital, whatever, you have like an account that you can message your OB. So I sent her a message, and I was like, I'm kind of freaking out, I'm getting really upset, I'm getting really down because my cycle's not coming, and that's just prolonging me being able to take Clomid. Is there anything we can do? Because I'm just really frustrated that I'm not even getting the opportunity to have a baby. Like, when you're not ovulating and you're at cycle day 56, you're like, what the hell is going on? Like, so frustrating. So she messaged back, and she was like, yeah, I'm going to prescribe you Provera so we can force a period so that way we can start Clomid on the 3rd day and induce ovulation, and then we'll go from there. So I was like, awesome, a plan, like perfect. I knew about Provera. I've looked at it considering everything that's been going on with me. I have PCOS. So I figured that at some point with me having irregular cycles, I would probably end up having to take Provera if I hadn't gotten pregnant yet. So, sorry, I'm sweating. It is so hot here in Missouri. Oh my gosh. So I'm even inside an AC and I'm sweating. But, so I picked up my Provera. Let's see. Tonight would be the 3rd night? 4th night. Yeah, 4th night of taking Provera. So I started that, I don't know, my math is horrible, Tuesday. Okay. Yeah, because I messaged her in the morning. I started Provera Tuesday. Wednesday, I ate dinner. I tend to take my fertility medication at night in hopes to like mask any kind of symptoms or side effects overnight. So I took it about 8 o'clock, and just like I was going to the bathroom, and on a whim I was like, I'm going to take an ovulation test. Nah, whatever. You might as well. I'm cycle day 55 at the time, whatever. I was like, what could it hurt? I'm just curious. Lo and, excuse my language, fucking behold, it was the most positive ovulation test I've ever gotten, ever. My last round of Clomid, it was a high ovulation test, but it's like the test line was about as dark as the control line. This test on Wednesday night test line was way darker than the control line. I freaked out. Like, if you ask my husband, he thought I was having, I don't know, he couldn't tell if I was sad or excited or, like, I don't know, I was acting like I just, like, smoked a bunch of crack, and obviously I've never done that in my life, but I was, like, pacing the house. It was, like, 9:30 at night, and I was like, oh my gosh, what's happening? I don't understand. Like, leave it to me to be the person who's on cycle day 55 or 56. I started Provera to start my freaking period, and I'm ovulating. So, questions that went through my mind were, does Provera cause false positives for ovulation tests? If I am ovulating, will Provera hurt that? If I do ovulate and I get pregnant, will Provera hurt that? Do I keep taking my Provera? I just took it. Do I try to go throw it up? Like, what do I do? So I immediately messaged my doctor so she'd have it in the morning, told her what was going on. I'm like, I don't know what the heck to do. Do I keep taking it? I ovulated. Here's a picture of it. All this stuff. And then I also called the nurse on call through Mercy, and she was like, honestly, honey, I have no idea. I don't know the answers to that question, so you'll just have to talk to your doctor in the morning. And I was like, oh my gosh, what the heck? So that didn't help any. So, of course, I started Googling it, and there's really not a lot on Provera related to, like, ovulation. From what I'd found, it does not cause false positives or OPKs because they're two different hormones. However, from what I have read, Provera is harmful to an early pregnancy. It could possibly cause miscarriage, all this kind of stuff. But in my head, I'm thinking, okay, well, technically, if I ovulate and it does work out, they don't consider a pregnancy starting until implantation, which is about 6 days after ovulation, which would be about the time I'm stopping Provera, so maybe it wouldn't be super harmful. And then I read a bunch of forums of girls talking about how they read the same things online, but when they asked their doctor said there's nothing to worry about. So I was like freaking out. So here's where the funny part comes in. So that's that night. I told Jerry what was going on. He was excited too. He has 2 broken hands. Okay. We hadn't baby danced since he got out of the hospital because 1, I hadn't ovulated, and 2, there's a lot going on, and the last thing you think about is having sex. So we just kind of like look at each other and grin because we both know that it's going to take something creative, or we're going to have to be very careful because he's got 7 pins in one hand and 4 in the other. So it's just, and he has use of like these fingers essentially. So we were like, okay, we can make it happen. Well, second game changer, aside from the 2 broken hands, is he had therapy for the first time that day, so that was Wednesday. Good, that kind of reiterates I'm on the right track as far as days go. So he had his first therapy on Wednesday. So his hands were really hurting. So he took an Oxy, which is, I'm sure you guys know, but it's a like pretty good painkiller. And he hadn't really taken Oxy since he got out of the hospital because he wanted to just take ibuprofen or Tylenol if he could, and then save an Oxy for if he really needed it, because it totally makes him super loopy. So he had taken his Oxy about the same time I had taken my Provera. So this is about like 30, 45 minutes, an hour later. So he's like kind of loopy. He was like, I hope this doesn't affect it, but let's try it. So whatever, we got ready for bed. It was a lot easier with 2 broken hands than I totally anticipated, so I'll just leave it at that. But the problem is the medication definitely hindered things. He couldn't complete the deed. I'll just leave it at that. So I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. I laughed at first and then I started crying. I was like, oh my gosh, this is the worst timing. It's the worst situation. Like, had I taken an ovulation test earlier, he wouldn't have taken his Oxy. Like, if I'm going to miss my ovulation day, I'm going to freak out. I was so frustrated. I was so down. I was just crying. I was like, what is going on? Like, why can't I just keep track? Why can't things be normal? Why can't things, like, at least set it up to where we can try? It's just everything is against us right now. And he felt bad and I felt bad and we went to bed. So I woke up the next day and I'm like, please let me have another positive ovulation test tonight when I get home. So when I got home, sure enough, it was positive. I was like, this time I'm going to use my Clear Blue Digital. Now, I have Clear Blue Digital, but not the advanced. So real quick, if you don't know the difference, the advanced, you basically have to test when you know you're not ovulating to set a baseline for your body, because those tests go off of like your own personal hormones and stuff. The regular Clear Blue is just like basically the sticks that you get off Amazon, but it shows you a smiley face or a blank face or something. And up to this point, out of all the months that I've had that, I've never gotten even a blinking smiley face or a solid smiley face. It's always been big fat 0, which means not fertile. So on a whim, I'm like, if this freaking thing doesn't show me a smiley face, I'm gonna freaking pitch it in the trash and stomp on it and burn it. It showed me a smiley face and I was like, yes, 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 yes. So I carried it in the living room. I'm like, Jerry, I got a smiley face. And he was like, oh. I'm like, it means I'm ovulating still. He's like, oh, okay. So that was last night. Took full advantage. Crossing my fingers. I just like I said, timing is so weird. Like tonight, which is Friday, Saturday and Sunday is all racing. Jerry's staying at the track for the weekend, so he's not going to be here tonight. So last night was literally the one chance that we had. And I'm just hoping those little swimmers will do their job. Because if I ovulated Wednesday, the egg stays in your fallopian tubes for up to 24 hours. It was pushing 24 hours when we had sex or baby danced. So I don't know. If this cycle works out, it will be an absolute miracle. But on the same time, I'm very hopeful about it because I've never gotten that kind of positive ovulation test ever. So it just makes me feel very hopeful. And I just have to block out the fact that I'm taking Provera to try to cause the complete opposite of what happened. My body is telling me, hey, you're fertile, you can try to have a baby, and I'm taking medication that's like, hey, I'm going to make you start your period. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is going on? So if you have been in this spot before, please comment down below, let me know what happened, whether it was a good outcome or bad. I need to know because this is insane. Ugh. So one other thing that I did. While I was on vacation in Colorado, I ordered OvuSense, which if you're not familiar, it's the box is right here. It's a fertility tracker, like a monitor. And basically what it does is it tracks your basal body temperature. And it looks like this little guy. It's about yay big. I don't know. Anyways, about the size of your finger. It looks like a little sperm, which is pretty cute. And basically what you do is you push it as high up in your vagina as you can. While you sleep at night, you leave it in there. If you have to take it out to go pee or something, you just wash it off, reinsert it. And it basically tracks, I'll have to read it again, so don't take my word for this, but I think like every 5 minutes it takes your temperature, so it averages everything. So I'm horrible at temping. I tried that for a while. I could not wake up at the same time in the morning. I would forget. It was just a nightmare, and it was not consistent or reliable whatsoever. So in my mind, I was like, okay, I've read a lot of reviews on these. I looked at the Ava bracelet for a little while, but they're not made for people with PCOS. They're not made for people with irregular periods, and that was huge to me. I didn't want to buy something and spend that kind of money and then it not be accurate for someone like me. And Ovusense is for everybody. And sure enough, overnight, Tuesday night, my temperature started to spike on my Ovusense. Now, granted, I had only been using it since Monday, but it was enough to tell me like what those couple days had been, or I use it Sunday. So anyways, so it spiked, and I'm like, weird. And so maybe that's like why subconsciously I took an ovulation test that evening. So I wore it that next night, and it was still high, and that's when we baby danced last night. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this can't be real. Like, if things are falling into place like this at the weirdest times in our personal lives, weirdest times on my fertility medication, and I actually get pregnant this cycle, and I'm on cycle day 58 or something today, like, that is just a testament to me and my body and my life. Holy crap. I hope this is it. It can be it, too. Also, my OB messaged me back yesterday and was like, she wants you to take a lab stat. You can go to any lab in your area. She wants to do an LH test to see if you are ovulating or did ovulate. So I went to do that this morning before I went to work. So I went to the little, like, I live in a small town, the one right near me, like, close to my work. And she was like, yeah, your OB said it was a stat test, but we don't do that kind of test here, so we have to send it off to the Mayo Clinic in, like, Minnesota. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, you want to just add another thing to the list of shit that's happened in the last couple of days? Pile it on. Sure enough, she's like, it's a stat test, but still going to take a day for it to get there. She's like, she like kind of saw the concern in my face. She's like, but that just probably means once it gets to their lab, they'll do it really fast. I'm like, great. So anyways, so I'm waiting for blood work to verify that I ovulated. I think, and I feel like I know I ovulated based off of what my body's done before and what my body's doing now. And I did have some cramping, so it totally makes sense now. I ovulated. We baby danced. I guess I'm in the 2-week wait now. Sure, wasn't planning this, did not see this coming. I went and bought some pineapple today to help with implantation. If that's a fluke, I don't care, I'm still gonna eat it, I like it. So that's what's going on with my life right now. It's just so crazy. But you know what, even if I don't get pregnant on this, I ovulated, and that's what's cool. I ovulated cycle day 56, and that's not cool, but in general, I ovulated, and that's good news. So here I am. She told me to still take Provera, so I'm still taking medication to make me have a period, yet I just ovulated and had sex. So, welcome to the life of Mackenzie Jump. No, welcome to the life of all of us who are trying to have a baby and cannot get our shit figured out because our bodies are like, no, not today or tomorrow or the next day or ever. So there's my update. Same thing as last time. If I find out I'm pregnant, I'm going to wait a little bit to announce it. Hell, it's been 50-something days since the last time I said that, and I'm not pregnant, so if it is a while, don't be surprised. I will try to be way more consistent on videos, and I am very sorry about that, but it has definitely been a very hard month. So we're finally kind of getting back into our normal routine. I will make the video on what happened that day, though. I'll redo that and make it not 30 minutes long. So this one's 20 minutes. But in my defense, like, it's been a little bit, so. Alright, well, I am going to go fix some dinner. My house looks like a disaster. I'll just ignore that part. Great. I'm going to go eat some dinner. Thank you guys. Subscribe to my channel. Also, a huge shout out to all of you guys who commented on my videos, checking in on me, checking in on Jerry. That meant the absolute world. I've really like grown a cute little community here, and I love all of you guys and your support. I love your questions. I love giving some kind of input and experience for you guys. If you've had any situation where you're like, sounds like she kind of has similar cycles or whatever, ask me questions. There's so many things that I don't mention because I forget or it's not the topic. So if you have a question, ask me. And if it's happened to me and I've had something that helped, I'll definitely let you know. Or if I haven't had anything that helped, I'll let you know that too. But I love interacting with you guys. I love talking through the comments. And you guys are just really awesome. So have a great weekend. It's hot here in Missouri. I'm going to spend some time at the track with my husband, but right now I'm going to go hang out with my dog. Oop, there he is, sleeping, and eat some food. So, love you guys. Thank you. Hit that subscribe button, and I will see you next time. Bye.